This is the iPad that I used all the way through high school and throughout the first 2.5 years of my undergrad. It's an iPad mini and it no longer works, but it was very reliable and I did almost all of my digital artwork on it. And indeed, the only reason that I'm doing digital artwork now is because I learned how to on my iPad. Honestly, I think that the fact that I still use an iPad today is a pretty good indication of the true motive behind teaching with an iPad. If Apple can encourage education with an iPad, then as you're learning these important life skills, you know how to do them with Apple products. This is my current iPad. I also have an Apple Pencil, the most expensive writing utensil you will ever get. I currently use it for almost all of the digital art that I make. I first got into digital art because I had the Autodesk Sketchbook app on my iPad. I downloaded this app and discovered that I could quickly and easily make art that looked basically professional. In my mind at the time, that had a lot more to do with the polish than it did with the actual craft. The art that I made in this time period was almost all finger painting. I just sat there and, drew. Other things that I rely on my iPad for, I do a lot of writing. I have a Bluetooth keyboard and I can pull it out almost like a typewriter and just type away. For a while, my iPad was my access to the internet. It was how I connected on social media. All I really have on my iPad these days is my emails, my Google apps, and my Procreate. These are the programs that I need for my basic illustration work, and they help me to keep track of my responsibilities without being overwhelmed by distractions, which I keep on my phone. Now, in general, I don't really have a high opinion of Apple. I feel like their reputation has more to do with being a status symbol than being what people actually need. That's especially true of their cell phones and their AirPods, but less so with the iPad because it is a cohesive, contained tablet. And I actually really appreciate that. If you want to have your iPad connected to nothing else, it can essentially be a clipboard with art supplies. And that's how I use my iPad today. Apple's strength is its simplicity. It's something where you can just sit down and have what you need where you need it. So if you're wondering, should I find a way to incorporate an iPad into my art classroom? I'd say if your students happen to all have iPads, then it's great. Give them that opportunity to experience digital art and encourage them to explore what it means to be an artist or an illustrator in our modern era. That said, if you are sitting here being like, should I get iPads for my school art department? I would encourage you to meet your students where they're at. I wouldn't go out of my way to make sure everyone in my district is using iPads. I think that it ends up being limiting because you feel this sense of, I only know how to use iPads for what I'm doing. And while that can be inspiring, I think that exploring traditional media and drawing can actually have pretty important effects that can be applied to digital art later on. How do you like them apples?